on. We've got our very own Mr. Oz here. Oh, he's rejoining. He'll be back in a second. There we go.
Arr! Good day, mateys. How's it going?
How's it going, Oz? Looking good there, buddy.
Are we ready for the land of Oz this Friday yet?
I don't
You're
think
matey,
we're
I
ready
think
for this, but let's go.
I need 1 minute.
You need 1 minute, huh? Anyway, welcome to the land of Oz, and it's great to see you all because I got to say, everybody out there, there's no nobler people than these people here. They'd make Lancelot himself blush. So today, we want to talk about how the progressives are getting stomped on in their quest to join campaigns and bring the progressive movement forward. I'd like to share some screens here, and we've got a little video, and then we're going to have our very own Saprit Carr talk about the video. And she's going to give us some insights on Sarah Smith's campaign against Adam Smith. Not only Adam Smith, but the entire Washington State Democratic Party, mind you. Anyway, we're going to start out. As you can see, the theme of the Land of Oz this week is going to be the pirate theme, because I've decided to become a pirate. Because it's time to step up to the plate and do some good. So I've got the good ship Oz here, and we're going to show you on my screen share. I hope you can see it. Can you see the good ship Oz, everybody?
We can.
You can. Well, that's the good ship Oz. Well, it's not as good as it is committed. I'll tell you that much. Then we're going to talk about the progressive warrior pirate Oz himself. That's all done. We've talked about it. We're going to move on to Adam Smith's party boat of BS. You know Adam Smith. He's part of the establishment Democrat. He's a corporate Democrat, and he's in a battle right now with Sarah Smith, the progressive candidate, the real progressive candidate for Washington's 9th District. We want to get behind Sarah Smith, so we are putting together a battleship for Sarah Smith to go up against Adam Smith's party boat of BS. So we've decided to pull this one out of the mothballs and go after Adam Smith. I think we've got a good advantage against his neoliberal party boat. What do you all think about that?
Yarr!
It looks powerful.
Arr, arr, arr. Well, I just want to say that Adam Smith, along with Derek Kilmer and Denny Heck and the rest of them, they're all corporate-owned Democrats, corporate Democrats, and I've got to say they're all cash cows for the Washington State Democratic Party. As you can see here, Adam Smith is a cash cow. So's Denny Heck, so's Kilmer, so's Larson, Delbini, and the rest. Of course, they're not going to want a progressive candidate to run against them because they're the big cash flow. Adam Smith donated in the 2016 election cycle about $250,000 to the Washington State and the DCCC to make sure that he got the advantage in election in the up-and-coming progressive battle. As we see there, he also donated a handsome sum to the 30th District Democrats. So it's called trickle-down cash cowing around. Now, let's get to the real meat of the matter, mateys. What we have is one of the best progressives I've seen in decades. Sarah Smith for Congress is running against the corporate-owned Adam Smith. With that, I would like to go to this wonderful, wonderful presentation on Sarah Smith. And if you don't hear your progressive candidates talking like this, they don't deserve your vote. After this, I'm going to let Saprit Carr talk about this video and how they put it together and what they hope to gain. I'm going to hand it over to our producer, Brian, and he's going to kick this off. It's about 6 minutes long, and it's worth every second. Arr!
Yeah. Let me get it up for you guys. Keep with the theme. Uh-oh.
Hi, my name is Sarah Smith. I'm running for Congress in Washington State's 9th District.
So I worked for Citigroup
right when, in 2009 through 2010, so right when a lot of people were coming out and declaring bankruptcy and they couldn't stay in their homes and trying to find foreclosure assistance. So I worked pretty much at the height of foreclosure in America. I met, over the phone really, I met a lot of people and spoke to a lot of people who were just good, hardworking individuals who wanted to just keep a roof over their head and who wound up in a bad situation that wasn't their fault. And I think that we let big banks gamble and lose enough with our fortunes, enough with our savings, with our college funds. We let them gamble enough. They already showed they can't be trusted to make positive decisions for people by trading all the bad mortgages they were trading. A particular story that comes to mind is I actually was working on helping this woman. She's a single mother of 3, and she was a nurse, and she was working. She'd just gotten back into the working world after her divorce from her husband. She told me her whole life story, and her mortgage payment became too much for her to bear. She lost her job. Even as a nurse, she was unemployed, and she didn't know what to do. She had 3 kids. She was the sole income provider, and to me, she was scraping by doing some side work and things like that, but she wasn't taking home a real salary. And I was hit really hard by her circumstance. And when I plugged everything into the tool we were using, it kept denying her for this repayment plan, but I knew she met the parameters. So we're not supposed to do this at the time, but I told her I would give her a call back, and so I disconnected my phone. I actually ended up calling directly to the Fannie Mae representative that coordinated with Citigroup at the time, and I had the representative actually come out to our site and put her information in and do a manual override, because he agreed with me. He didn't know what was going on, but the tool errored out, and she should have qualified and never did. So he was actually able to override it and get her to the program, and they let me call her back and be the one to tell her. And I remember it was like a 3-day process, and she said she started to cry on the phone about how she was waiting with bated breath and how she was just so grateful that someone actually went the extra mile. And it hit me so hard that I tried to make sure for the rest of my working life I'm always going the extra mile, because I never know what person I'm going to interact with next that's going to get hit hard by something and need someone just to care a little bit more. And that's really important to me as a person. It's important to me in how I work. It's important in how I approach the world. But that's how I want to approach this kind of legislation, is how is this going to affect the nurse with 3 kids who's a single mom? How is this going to affect those working people in the end? And then I took a break from that because I realized I wasn't happy in those fields, and I needed to do something better, and I wanted to do better. I wanted to do something that had a positive and meaningful impact on people. So I took a job at a small business. I love helping out a local business owner. I love being a part of that environment. And then the opportunity arose to run for Congress. And I figured what better way to help people than to the ultimate ask, right?
I've always been politically active. I come from a very political family. Got lots of cool stories about my dad. He actually helped pen the legislation that brought a single-payer healthcare to Ireland. And I've always done voter drives. I helped participate in anti-war activism during high school after the Iraq War started. I've been pretty involved with volunteer work through Planned Parenthood, through the Humane Society. We organized food drives for my old company, and I was on their volunteer board and everything like that. So I've got a lot of volunteer experience and a lot of legal experience. So we talk about things like Medicare for All and universal college and things like that. And the question everyone always talks about is, oh, well, there's no money for that. Let me tell you, 60% of that $1 billion budget goes to private contracting companies off of our taxpayer dollars. So we're sending mercenaries out because we're involved in so many goddamn wars. And when they finally hammered out the budget, it was actually closer to $800 billion. And Adam Smith said, this is a good budget. No, it's not. If that doesn't include universal single-payer Medicare for all the people, debt-free education, revitalization of our infrastructure, expanding grant programs so we have municipal internet and be done with this net neutrality garbage, that's not a good budget. I don't care what else is in it. It is not a good budget if it does nothing for the people. And I am so sick and tired of this argument about not having enough money. Adam Smith is a 21-year sitting incumbent that has done pretty much nothing. He's never fought for progressive values. He's been a self-described moderate. He's voted in favor of every bad trade deal except for CAFTA. He's a war hawk. He's very comfortable with the war industry. He takes thousands of their dollars and he talks about, oh, we need to increase troop salaries, but he doesn't talk about cutting the 60% of that military budget that goes towards private contractors, who are conveniently also the companies who donate to his campaign. He votes in favor of increasing the military budget, and then he talks about how he voted against one of the Appropriations Acts. And he says, oh, where are we going to get this money? Oh, I can tell you, because you voted in favor of increasing it. It's going to come from Social Security and education. You just don't want to say it and you don't want to own it. And after 21 years, he's suddenly saying he's now a progressive. As of his August 4th town hall 2017, after 21 years of self-described moderacy, he's all of a sudden a progressive. And he's all of a sudden in favor of Medicare for all. Where were you in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up until this year? Where were you? Adam had a chance to represent his very progressive district. We swung in the caucuses 72% for Bernie Sanders. He had his opportunity and his golden chance to demonstrate, I'm going to vote with my district, and he's a superdelegate. He could have superdelegated for Bernie Sanders like his district wanted him to, but instead he said, and the TLDR version of it is basically, I don't have to do what the voters say, I'm not bound to that, it's more important that I do what the party wants. And he voted for Hillary Clinton. He showed that he's not actually going to stand up for progressive values. Of course it's easy for him to say he's progressive now when he's not actually going to have to hold fast to those values with a Republican-controlled House and Senate and presidency. It's easy to say he's a progressive right now because he doesn't actually have to do the work. But when he did have the chance, he did nothing. In 2008, when he had the chance to be a voice for all progressive values and we had the House, Senate, and presidency, Adam Smith said and did nothing.
Oh my God, I love this video. Before I say anything, I want to thank Adam Douglas. He's the guy from Progressives Unite who made this video and shared it with the Sarah Smith campaign, and that's how I came to know of him. But here's one thing I want to say. The DCCC, recently there was, Ryan Grip did a report on how the DCCC is asking candidates to raise $250,000 before they throw their support behind them. Adam Smith has to date donated more than at least $250,000 from what I have calculated from his FEC filings. So, okay, that's why he gets the DCCC green light. But here's the thing. If the focus of the DCCC, like Jimmy said, is going to be money, big money, and how much money can you raise, then you're going to be out of touch of the school teacher, of the nurse, of the football coach. You are out of touch, Adam Smith. Bring on your army of mercenaries, because we have an army of warriors here, and warriors will be the mercenaries. Here's the clear difference between Adam Smith and Sarah Smith. Adam Smith does not believe money in politics corrupts. He told me that to my face when I went to ask him in his town hall. And Sarah Smith is not taking any corporate money. Adam Smith is a member of Council of Foreign Relations. We just discussed that before Oz, you came on. It is basically a neoliberal think tank that pushes for deregulation, was in favor of NAFTA, and wants to reduce the deficit by taking money from Social Security and Medicare. That is money you put in, money that you put in out of your paycheck every time. That's what they want to use to clear the debt created by the wars that Bush and his buddies pushed. To end this, to end the status quo, we need an antithesis. You cannot fight these problems created by money in politics by putting in another representative who takes corporate money. We need something that is a force of good in the government, somebody who's fierce and bold and unapologetically progressive, whose policies don't change based on which legislative district she's talking to. That is my candidate. She's going to be my congresswoman. That's all I have to say. Whew.
You go, girl. Heck yeah, man. That's exactly. Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself.
If that doesn't shiver Adam Smith's timbers, nothing will. God rest his soul. I just want to say thank you for my segment again, everybody. And remember, if we don't support independent media, because when you don't, this is what you get. Arr! And the Land of Oz wants to ask you, from Oz, the princess herself, are you a progressive Democrat or a corporate Democrat? The Land of Oz supports whole Washington healthcare for all, because healthcare is a human right. Arr. Thank you all.
Thank you, Oz.
Thank you very much, Oz. Great report.
Thank you.